Welcome, dudes and dudettes. This is your host, Robby Rowland, and you're listening to The Robby Rowe Show.
If your transfer goes from the ground out the hand, right, for you, right? Yeah. If you're losing force and power through the core, it's going to stop, right? You're going to lose it.
Well, something else is going to compensate and then blow out your lap.
May I have your attention, please?
Give me a heater.
Now listening to Clear the Mechanism.
The Robby Rowe Show.
The Robby Rowe Show.
What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Robby Rowland, and I'm bringing you part two of a two-part episode with DJ Edwards. And I want to say, in the very beginning of this show, I want you to realize that this part two, we go in, DJ and I go in, and it really highlights DJ's intelligence around training baseball players or just people in general, right? I know part one, and I got a little bit of feedback of part one. It was literally just like a conversation, getting to know DJ a little bit, and I wanted to do a two-part just for that reason alone, because I want you to understand who DJ is as a person, and kind of his brief, background and how he got to where he is, and all of the things that he had to deal with, to get to where he is. And so in this part two, we're really going to highlight, DJ's knowledge surrounding the strength and conditioning side of things. We'll talk about understanding why we do what we do when we train. Why we're doing certain exercises compared to not doing certain exercises. We talk about competing and how building a culture and an environment in a training facility really brings out the best athlete in you. We talk about how he utilizes specific tools to track data from his athletes and to get a baseline, and so we can grow as athletes. So we know that we're not just going to the gym to train and burn calories or whatever. We're going in there for a purpose. We're trying to grow as athletes. We're trying to get bigger, faster, stronger. And we wrap it up with, a little bit of the intent behind everything that the athletes do and everything that DJ tries to push onto his athletes. So this is going to be great for you guys, especially for those of you who kind of reach out to me and said, like, yo, that podcast, that first part one, like we just talked and got to know him. But hey, this is going to be a good one for sure. So again, appreciate DJ for everything he does for me. Like I said, in the first part was I've been training at Push now for about two months. I think 2 months and some change maybe. And I've been active on my Instagram showing you guys like what that culture is and why it's important. So yeah, man, for those of you who don't subscribe to the show, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be pumping out tons of episodes with fantastic guests coming up. And make sure you're locked in on that. But man, I think I don't think I have anything else to say. Obviously, as you saw in part one, highlighting Aura Ring, www.auraring.com, discount code RobbyRowe12, Robby with a Y. We talk a little bit about it in this episode as far as tracking data and why that's important. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. And if you're in the business of, really optimizing your fitness journey or optimizing your life, making sure that, you're feeling good every day, Aura Ring's a great tool to utilize in your life, just so you're tracking your data. And yeah, man, that's it. So appreciate you guys. Love all you guys for being subscribers and listening into the show. Appreciate all the feedback that I'm getting on Instagram, Twitter, and love each and every one of you. So hope you guys enjoy this part two, and hope that you guys take something from this and can apply it into your life. All right, guys. Without further ado, man, here's DJ Edwards and I, part two.
Okay.
Did you say -1?
I said 0 -1. Speaking of -1. There's a really good deal on steaks at Safeway.
Really?
$5.77 a pound for New York boneless.
Is it grass-fed?
It's grass-finished. All right, part two, The Robby Rowe Show, episode 49.2, DJ Edwards. Okay, so we just got done talking in part one about how we are determining that every athlete that you work with is unique.
Absolutely.
What are the common deficiencies you would see in, say, an overhead thrower?
Depends on how many innings they throw. Depends how much, if they're a hitter.
Yeah.
Depends,
Like a common thread of like, okay, this guy, we put him on the table. We
really stuck in extension, dominant lat, poor breathing patterns.
Yeah.
Lack of anterior core stability.
Yeah.
Lack of internal rotation their shoulder. Lack of internal rotation their hips.
Yeah.
Not everybody, obviously. But those are kind of the few things that we can almost guarantee with, 80% of the guys that walk in the door.
Yeah, so you have an eye for that?
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Well, because like I get a lot of questions from athletes, younger athletes that want to know like, hey, like you talk a lot about in your show about why is it important to screen, why is it important to figure out deficiencies and how we can attack those. But like,
absolutely.
If there's an athlete out there, how does he self-screen himself? How does he like determine what his own deficiencies are?
Figure out what you suck at.
Yeah.
Right? Figure out what hurts. Figure out what makes you hurt. In throwing and lifting, if a push-up hurts, why is that push-up going to hurt, right? If you can't keep your feet on the ground during a deep squat and your heels come up, address some ankle mobility.
Which is what 95% of like the world's population that's going to happen to.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right? So, self-screens are super easy.
It's checking the pride at the door, checking the ego at the door,
exactly.
And being like, look,
yeah, I heard a great, somebody say this, like, train what you suck at.
Yeah.
Right? If you hate it, you need it. Right?
Which sucks, right?
Which sucks, because that's what you're going through right now, 100%.
I hate walking lunges.
Yes.
It's stupid.
But in my world, I need to give the athletes a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
If I give them what they hate all the time,
yeah,
they're going to leave.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So our guys you want to jump on? our guys have a good balance of, why we do things and what they want to do.
Yeah.
So
but your guys, I've seen just from being here for 2 months, is like your guys just understand. They understand big picture, right?
100%.
And if you're a professional athlete, baseball player, your goal is Major League Baseball.
Absolutely.
So you know that if that's your end goal, or say your end goal is staying in the big leagues, right, which is even harder, then there's a certain price that you have to pay, right?
Yeah, Bird and I were talking about that yesterday. He's like, I'm in the big leagues now, but it was easy to get there. It's hard. It's hard to stay there.
Yeah.
That's
crappy of him to say it was easy to get there.
Well, he didn't mean it that. He didn't mean it that way, though. You know what I mean?
Know.
It's way harder to stay.
But you hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys get there, but like, what percentage of those guys get there, like, stay there for X amount of months or X amount of years?
Yep, exactly.
And it's the best of the best, man.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, that's just the one thing I've noticed of your guys is like, they're doing their exercises that you look at and like that sucks, right? Like, I mean, he's rolling on a foam roller right now, like that sucks. But he knows, like, big picture, like. I got to do that, right?
Yep.
Like I got.
Yeah, like we programmed Turkish get-ups for one of our catchers in the Diamondbacks organization.
Yeah.
And he's told me straight up he's not doing it. And I go, all right, well, don't do it. And then came back. He goes, all right, I'm going to do it. Because he knew like the why, right?
I just PR'd on my Turkish get-up today.
I saw that. Good job.
Did you? Thanks, man. Yeah. I appreciate it. For the listeners, we just bumped fist. That's what that happened. It's not visual.
Just them understanding the why.
It's huge, right?
It's huge.
Yeah.
Educating them, allowing them to do the things that they want to do, and allowing the things, them allowing us to do things we want to do. Goes back to culture.
And it goes back to like the not cookie cutter approach to individualize the program too.
Exactly.
And like there has to be 110% buy-in on the athlete's end with that too, right? Like you got to be like, yo, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I could provide for you as far as my services go. The program goes. Like, what do you got now? Now it's a relationship. Now it's one-on-one. Like, what do you think? And they look at their program, and on a Tuesday or whatever, typical like chest day or Monday chest day, it's totally not that anymore. And it's like all this crap.
I mean, that's not how it used to be with me, right? Like, no, it was my way. If Drake and I mean, we've had great conversations this offseason, right, Drake? About changing things consistently, adding things more to his program. Going to do FRC stuff. You know what I mean? Just adding smaller pieces and taking bigger pieces away.
Dude, I'm the worst when it comes to like my program. That's why Josh hates me, because like I need variety.
Yeah.
Like because if I do like the same workout 3 times in a row, or 3 times in a span of 2 weeks, it's like, man, I need to do something else, right?
Yeah.
So then I'll implement like a freaking barrel roll on the
Exactly.
ground. And just
That's where, we're open for discussion with our guys, right?
because it's important to have like fun when you train.
Absolutely.
Like you have to like get to that point in your mental state too. Yes, it's fun training because you're getting closer to your goal. You know that you're putting in the work to get closer to that goal, but at the same time, like you got to want to show up and you're like, dude, I'm pumped to freaking pull off the floor today.
Exactly.
Like,
And, I mean, they're
pumped.
competing, right? So
Yeah.
something cool we did this offseason with a couple of our guys, we paired them up with training partners. Even though they're 100% customized programs,
Yeah.
their core lifts are the same. Their accessory lifts are a little different, right?
What do you mean by accessory lifts?
So like
mobility
their,
days?
yeah,
and
their,
stuff?
their mobility or their arm care exercises, their filler exercises, whatever. Well, I think Cressy calls them filler exercises. Whatever you want to call those are going to be different, right?
Yeah.
But their core lifts, say we're doing velocity-based training on a trap bar deadlift, their numbers will be the same because we're trying to peak closer to spring training.
Yeah.
So they're moving the same weight, or we'll force profile. We can get into that later, but force profile is the best thing we've ever done.
I'll write it down.
Okay. We force profile these guys, and then we prescribe weights, prescribe speeds for them, and they're competing against each other, trying to, move the weight faster than each other with the same amount of weight, or move the weight. The speed needs to be faster than the other guy next to him.
And you're all about like determining those speeds too.
Oh, absolutely. That's the only way we train now. No more 1 rep. I mean, we never did 1 rep maxes, but we'll do a 3 rep. I wouldn't even say max, but a 3 rep movement. Right, movement over max is Zach Dakin. Looking in that book, by the way. He just released it. He's
Movement over what?
TCU strength coach.
TCU. I'll link in the show notes.
Yep.
The article. Is it an article?
No, it's a book he just wrote.
What's it called?
Movement over maxes.
Movement over maxes.
Yep.
All right, listeners, that'll be in the show notes of part 2 of this episode. Okay, but let's dive down that rabbit hole.
Okay.
F it, dude. Like, why? Because everyone loves 1 rep max. Everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what gets the most views on Instagram, man.
Exactly.
Why are
right.
you taking that away from us?
And we've had a couple guys hit 1 reps just because they're feeling it, right?
Why not? Type thing.
And I know people probably get pissed off on Instagram, social media, whatever you want to call it, because they see us doing. We'll post a 600-pound deadlift, but that's not how we train at all whatsoever.
Meathead.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Everyone needs a meathead workout once in a while.
We'll get guys to where we think they're strong, right? At the beginning of the offseason, build a foundational strength phase, and then we'll increase that speed or decrease the load, and we'll get them to move faster. Baseball is such a fast, powerful moving sport, right?
Yeah.
We have a good foundation of strength. I care more about proper movement than I do absolute strength, absolute, grunt, pure power, getting that bar off the ground.
Well, within that, like you can talk about like compensation too, because athletes are the best compensators.
And that's something, we talked about this morning. That's something, guys are going to cheat more to get a heavier weight off the ground than they are.
Absolutely. Your body
to
does
move
whatever
weight
it
faster,
needs.
right? So velocity-based training is going to hurt people because they're moving the weight fast.
Right.
Well, no, because you compensate more on the strength side than you would on the power side, right?
Yeah.
Power is determined on your joint placement and how your joints are stacked.
Yeah.
So we want to stack those joints in a proper position to get optimal muscle output.
Right.
So joint placement dictates muscle function. So we want to stack those joints and move the weight as fast as we can.
Yeah. I'm trying to like see what that's a soundbite, dude. Like, let's go. So let's talk about like the constant data that you're accumulating within your athletes. I mean, that's what it is.
You see us doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, we're collecting data from 10-yard sprints, lateral broad jumps, velocity-based stuff. I mean, everything.
Like everything you do here, like
tracked.
there's a purpose behind it, though, right?
Yeah, there's a purpose behind it, and there's going to be times for us to use that data, right?
Yeah. Do you just track growth?
Yeah. So, like for instance, I have a commit, LSU baseball commit. Kid's a sophomore this year.
Yeah.
Started off, we tested him. Prescribed a 225-pound RDL, hit it for 0.5 meters per second, right, which is pretty slow.
Yeah, I have no idea
what that right? It's the upper end of strength.
Okay.
So we progressed him towards the season a little bit. He's at 0.75 right now and hit 225 at 0.75.
Getting faster.
That was a month and a half of training. right? But he took that same weight, the same load, and now he's moving it 0.25 meters a second faster. Right. So that shows how much stronger he's gotten without him even, having to bust it, screw up his form.
Now, do you change your lifts, though? Do you have, like, days where they are your quote-unquote explosion days, everything that we were doing
We do high-low stuff, yeah. I mean, we do high-low stuff where, we'll have, like, say we did a heavy reverse lunge. The next day will be, like, a dynamic deadlift. Yeah. It varies where we're at. Like I said, we'll work on the strength-speed continuum. Yeah. And I forgot who I was listening to a podcast the other day about that.
The strength speed continuum?
Yeah, it's basic. Work absolute strength, speed, strength.
Is that what that is? Because I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, so you work. This is essentially how we build our entire program for the off season, our pro guys. So you'll go absolute strength foundational phase, and then we'll progress them to strength speed, which is a little bit faster moving. Maybe add a little bit more rotational work into that. Yeah. And then we'll work more speed strength, which is a little lighter loads, obviously. Yeah. A lot more sprint work, a lot more med ball, all that kind of stuff, and then peak them going into spring training at absolute speeds. So they're ready to throw baseball maximally, swing maximally, all that kind of stuff. So we're working off that continuum where they're going to peak at the right time.
Right. So I know just from like my experiences, like you attribute your like speed days to X percent of your 1 rep max, right? So how do you determine what percentage your guys are at?
Our force profile. So we'll go, let's take a trap bar deadlift, right? Yeah. We'll start at 135 pounds, do 2 reps as fast as I can. Do it again at 135 pounds, 2 reps as fast as you can. And then we'll go up until they hit like a 0.5 a weight. So say they do 385 at 0.5, right? Then we'll create, Excel spreadsheet where it's finding the slope and intercept, all that kind of stuff, and do a formula where we're going to shoot out our percentage of what we want them at. Yeah. So our desired speed is going to be, say, 0.70 today, or this phase.
Does that change, like the desired speed?
Yeah, that's the strength speed continuum. Right. So it's going to be 0.5. We usually start like 0.45.
Oh, well, that's what I was going to ask later. Is like, what is the goal there? Like,
so right now our guys are around 0.7, just because of where we're at in the off season. Yeah. So we profile our guys, get the exact number of prescribed weight, prescribed speed, and then it shoots out. We'd say, all right, Drake, you got 315 at 0.7 today. Yeah. And usually 90% of the time it's correct, and then we'll graph it. Yeah. And then if the graph shows a increase, we'll obviously increase their weight.
Sure.
At the same speed.
Now, what is that like? So if you were to do like a graph of an individual like Drake's off season, is it just all growth, or is it linear? What does that look like as far as like how he's progressing? Because I'm sure there's days where
absolutely. That's where we look at readiness too. That's why we use our velocity based stuff so much too, is because it shows the readiness of the athlete. Yeah. Right. It shows their recovery, it shows their sleep, it shows all that stuff. If they're pulling 315 at 9. Right, and the next day or the next week they're pulling 315 at 0.7. They're like, all right, what happened? Right? Did you sleep like crap? Are you stressed, or does our program suck? Which one is it? Right? Yeah. Most of the time, it's my program sucks.
Well, no, this is a perfect plug for the Aura Ring. For those of you listening that are asking the question of how do I determine if I'm ready?
Is that what that is?
Yeah. So Aura Ring's a sponsor of the show. www.auraring.com. Discount code RobbyRow12. That's Robby with a Y. Save you $50 on your Aura Ring. If you guys are a follower of mine, you'll see that I post a lot of my readiness, my recovery, my sleep cycles, just all that stuff. So thanks for the introduction to my subtle plug, a little sponsorship tidbit.
Absolutely.
But because I know, and it's funny too, because you can have like really strong guys, right, that are pulling the 600s and squatting the 450s, whatever. Yep. But when it comes to their dynamic, they won't do it at a fast pace, because that's how I am.
And that's transfer. Yeah. Right. That's transferring from the. Can you transfer what you do in the weight room to the field, to the mound, to the batter's box, whatever you're doing, right?
So how can we transfer what we do in the weight room to the field?
Exactly.
What goes into that?
Exactly.
Just dynamic.
I mean, it depends on the athlete.
Right.
Right. We have a kid, first day, did his 10-yard assessment, fastest kid in the gym, faster than all of our pro guys. He's a junior in high school. ran like a 1.502 laser time.
Was that
at
pi?
10 yard. Laser time.
Is that taking pi out? That's 3.11415 to the 10th degree.
So, but then he did his hitting assessment with Chris.
Right.
And I go, how's the swing look? He goes, swing's great, but he just doesn't have the bat speed, doesn't have the exit velo.
Power output.
But his first day was 10-yard sprint was high, was elite. His deadlift VBT profiling was elite.
VBT, go ahead, what?
Velocity-based training.
Okay.
That's what we just talked about.
Yeah. Well, I know everyone's going to be listening. What? What's that?
So those two things didn't transfer to the swing. Right.
And that's the end goal.
So what I did, and sat down with Chris, is talk about why. Went back to him, shot him a text later that day, said, hey, we're going to change some things in your program. We're going to drop your numbers a little bit.
Right.
Increase your speed now versus your weight.
Right.
So I don't care about how strong you are anymore. You're strong as hell. Right. Let's worry about how fast you're moving.
Right.
What kind of output you're putting out. Right. What kind of force you're producing. Is your force transferring? Are you losing it through your core? Are you losing core stability? Are you, why is this happening? Why aren't you transferring it?
Right.
And that's what we want to figure out with our athletes on the throwing side, on the hitting side, on everything.
Yeah, because my biggest deficiency was the core, the trunk stability.
And everything comes, right?
And I mean, everything, right?
You transfer all your, if you have a broken chain through your core, if your transfer goes from the ground out the hand, right, for you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. If you're losing force and power through your core, it's going to stop.
Right.
Right? You're going to lose it.
Well, something else is going to compensate and then blow out your lat.
Yep. There you go.
It's no accident.
Right? Hashtag Robby Olin. There you go.
Yeah, might as well.
Yep.
But that's like such a true thing, and I think that's a dangerous thing that we're getting into in 2018 or shoot, man, we're almost in 2019. Is like we're obviously, we talked about earlier, I think in part one, where we talk about the demands of the sport. You have to get in, you have to train, you have to be elite, you have to do this, you have to do that. But at the same time, you got to do all of that efficiently.
100%.
And that's dangerous, dude, because there's so many guys out there that go, oh, look, I see Drake's program on his Instagram. I'll just copy paste. That's my program for the day.
We've had kids do that. Sign up for a month and then take it to lifetime or 24 hour and just do that for 6 months. I'm like, you're doing a basic program.
Yeah. Or and the whole compensation thing is like just through my experience of my recent injury, like I've learned like holy crap, dude.
Goes back to what we were talking about this morning.
Like everyone's compensating. We're so good at compensating. How can our body get in a way to do the task
100%,
at hand,
100%.
but do it inefficiently?
Elite athletes are elite compensators.
So that's probably another thing of your foundation, right? Is like when you say, hey, we're gonna check the ego at the door, check the pride at the door. We're gonna do movement based stuff. Like how do you move, right?
Yeah.
Like,
at the same time, though, do we want to take those compensations away from them?
Exactly, because that could maybe benefit them on the playing field.
Exactly. Does them having a little bit of extension make them faster? Right. You see a lot of elite sprinters having, dominant hamstrings and glutes. Right. They're stuck in extension. Back curvature. Their butt's real high. Right. That makes them fast.
Sure.
But in baseball, extension kills rotation.
Yeah.
Right. In anything. So we want to get the pelvis neutral. Right, but at the same time, how neutral do we want to get it? Right, that might be a lot of their power.
That's true.
I
didn't think of that.
Somebody like you, like why did that lat happen? Right.
My
lats are freaking
huge,
but that compensation would need to be addressed. Right.
Yeah. Well, it's been being addressed.
Well, now it is. Now it is.
But that's the basis of what we're talking about. Really, is like, look. Don't we don't have to overcomplicate it, right? Like we can literally, the simple version of the show is like screening deficiencies.
You hear that?
What is that? Is that a song? What is that? Oh, that's
there. It goes. It's off.
Guys, Gus's shirt just came off.
Took his shirt off
at minute 19, 45 seconds. Gus' shirt's been removed.
What's up, guys? I want to interrupt this show just briefly and talk to you a little bit about Pocket Radar. Pocket Radar has been a sponsor of this show. I've talked in detail about why it's so important these days to be able to track your data, especially when it comes to arm strength, and ball speed, velocity, all that stuff. It's no accident. You turn on a TV. And everyone from pitchers to infielders to outfielders to catchers, they're there for a reason. And we can sit here all day and break down the reasons why they're a big leaguer, but a lot of it has to do with a plus arm. You know, especially like high school kids going to showcases, what's the first thing they measure, right? Ball speed, whether it be the infield, outfield, especially in the on the pitcher side of things. So what I can do for you guys if you are interested in purchasing a pocket radar is I can save you 10% if you decide to do that. Just go to pocketradar.com, and once at checkout, there should be an option for you to put in a discount code, which is going to be Robby10. Robby10. That's ROBBY10. I'll save you 10% off your Pocket Radar order. If you have any complications with that, head over to my Twitter, Instagram, and shoot me a DM and let me know, and then I can personally send you a link and even talk to them if there's any complications moving forward. So that's pocketradar.com, discount code's Robby10. All right, let's get back to the show, guys.
But that's it, right? Like, in all seriousness, like, that's the simple version of, like, screening, get a screen, determine your deficiencies, focus on those deficiencies throughout your training.
Yep.
Get better at the things you suck at.
Yep.
And, like, don't overcomplicate it, right?
No, it's, I mean, if you look at
kids get overwhelmed. They're like, oh, I got to do this, that.
If you look at our program, it's so simple.
Right.
You
But
know,
on the outside looking in, it's probably like, whoa.
Yeah, what do they do
A
differently?
lot of moving parts.
Right? What do they do differently?
Right.
We don't do anything different. We just focus on the small, unique little things that make movement sexy.
Yeah.
You know
or
what I
just
mean?
make athletes better athletes.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't care if you're a pitcher. I don't care if you're an outfielder. I don't care if you're a forward in basketball.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. We're going to make Robby Rowland the most athletic person possible. Right? And then dominate the sport.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's another thing, too, is like the whole misconception about baseball players didn't need to be athletes.
Yeah, you look at those videos from the 70s, 80s, man, like those guys are slow.
But like, even, I'm coming from a pitcher side, obviously. Just the way they throw the ball is like their movements are so efficient, and they don't even know what they're doing.
Exactly.
It's like, oh.
But why are guys in the Dominican so successful?
Well, we talked about this the other week.
Yep.
Last week.
Yep.
That's a great conversation.
Yep.
It's like, yo, what is the demand of your sport? Like, how can you get off the island?
Yep.
You got to do X, Y, and Z.
They're not going to school.
No.
You know what I mean?
Your school is throwing hard.
Their school is throwing hard.
Or
Like,
hitting a ball
we have
far.
guys go to school, come in here for an hour and a half.
Guys with jobs.
Yeah.
Off-season jobs, grinding in pro ball.
Oh, I'm talking about our high school kids. They go to school, come in here.
I've seen it.
And then they go play Fortnite for 4 hours.
You got to get your Fortnite in, man.
Way longer than what they've been in here for.
Fortnite is not a sponsor
And then they wonder
of
why. And then they wonder why they're not getting the success that these other kids on islands have, right? They're not. They think they're the best player in the city, but they're not even a top 500 player in the nation.
It goes back to that the phrase of like, there's always someone out there working harder than you.
100%.
Like, no matter where you're
literally
at,
their
no matter
life
what you're
depends on
doing.
it.
Yeah.
We have guys used to try and swim from Cuba to Florida.
Well, that's another thing.
Right?
I think another highly important thing about competing within, training and against your peers is like, you get that mindset of like, gosh, I got to show up. Like, I got to show up to show out, dude. Like, I can't just go 60% to this exercise. Which when you're by yourself, like, how easy is it to just go through a lift
So
like
simple.
60%? Like, I'm really not feeling it today. Like, I'll just drop all the way and like, we'll hit it.
Yep.
But like, when you're in here, dude, and like, there's guys with their shirts off. I'm counting 3 dudes with their shirts off, and you're like, what, dude? I'm more jacked than you. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's that environment again, where you expect excellence out of yourself. So then you get into that different element.
Yeah, that's where culture, going back to culture.
100%.
It starts with the athlete. Culture's built with the athlete.
Yeah.
They push each other every day. It doesn't matter if they're in low A or the big leagues.
Yeah.
They're pushing each other, and we'll jump in with the lift sometimes with them, and
why not? Yeah.
try and show them up, and this isn't happening.
Not anymore, huh?
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago.
They'll call us out. They'll talk crap, but
That's the culture.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And our high school guys come in at the tail end of their sessions, and see them working hard. Like, they literally say it's a whole. They love being in here because it's a whole different kind of business.
Right.
Like that just lead by example.
Right.
Right.
What do you say to the guy that says, well, Latin Americans don't work out? Why do they throw so hard? Why do they hit balls far?
They do work out. They throw with max intent.
Yeah.
Would
you say that trumps all?
Intent? Consistency, intent.
Just throwing a base. So pitcher specific. Do you believe that just every time you touch a ball, throwing with maximal intent your whole life, getting your body acclimated to that load that you put on it, is that trumping all of what you can do in a weight room?
Yeah, I believe so, because it's going to be a mindset thing, right?
Yeah.
You're going to blow it by somebody. You're going to throw it through the catcher, not to the catcher.
Yeah.
You're gonna blow the hitter away. You throw the ball hard every single time you have it. Yeah. It builds that mindset
100%.
where you're not going to just let's just get a feel, get in this position, just feel it out.
That's what society, or that's what the baseball culture tells us to do sometimes.
Oh yeah, you have these big travel ball facilities.
Yeah.
And they're just like, just get in power position, throw the ball. Like that's not going to teach you anything. You have a kid at 9 years old throwing the ball in Venezuela as far as he can across the ocean.
Yeah.
Every day.
Or rocks.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Everything they have, right? They're hitting bottle caps. They're doing things like that. And you guys are just taking front toss swings and at 50%.
Hey, 50%, just get your swing
down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like...
We won't dive into that rabbit hole.
No, we don't need to. Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's like what our coaches are inhibiting them, are teaching them is inhibiting them to be great, right?
Yeah. Why
we got to let these athletes be athletes. Let them, let them express their intent. Let them express their conviction.
Yeah.
Let them open up.
Yeah.
Right. And creating that environment is going to trump all, hands down. It doesn't matter if we have a crap product.
100%.
If you have guys that work hard, you're going to get more out of it than anything else.
Well, dude, like even just being here that day when Dylan was throwing, and it was like everyone around him, like, let's go, dude.
Yep.
Like you have that just positive influence,
Yep.
and then that brings out that inner freaking beast in you.
Yep.
Like why not? Like why not put yourself in that position, right?
Why not? Why wouldn't you want to do that?
So let's talk about that, dude. It's like I'm a junior in high school, obviously with aspirations to be a big leaguer. What do I need to do right now? I train on my own. I train at 24 Hour Fitness. I don't know what I'm doing. I go to Instagram and I look at workouts and I do this. What do I need to be doing?
You need to sleep. You need to eat. You need to lift a lot of weights.
Okay, but what weights? What do I need to eat, DJ? How much do I need to sleep?
These are all depends answers. Sleep a lot. Sleep's a generic answer there. Sleep as much as you can.
But I have to play Fortnite.
No, you don't. Then you don't want it. Yeah, be a kid, but you don't want it.
Yeah, he's doing his Fortnite dance in the background. But that's like a common occurrence too, right? Like I'm sure you get asked a lot of questions.
I can't afford training. Go get a job. We have kids do that all the time. Get a job.
Yeah.
Pay for it.
Right.
Do you want it? How bad do you want it?
Right.
I can't afford it. Go get a job.
Well, and not to mention there's a bunch of free stuff out there.
Josh does online training for dirt cheap.
Yeah, $50 a month.
Exactly.
Use my code, Robby.
And you
Swipe
can't.
up.
There you go. You're welcome, Josh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we do online training.
Yeah.
Josh does online. It's all cheaper.
Right.
Seek out things. If you want it bad enough, you could sell baseball cards and get $50 a month.
They still do that?
I don't know. I just made it up.
All right.
Maybe heard Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V say that.
Gary
one
V,
time.
dude.
There you go.
Guy kills it.
Yep. So you can find ways to pay for things.
Yeah. Do they give you money?
Our minor leaguers make $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 a year and pay us a couple $100 a month.
$6. I'm making $6.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They pay us. They find a way to pay us a couple $100 extra a month.
Right.
So a high school kid who has way more resources than a pro guy at that level.
Yeah.
Figure out how to pay $50 to Josh Heenan to.
Right.
I
mean, it goes back to like, well, dude, like how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, there's a certain price. There's a certain thing that you have to do. There's sacrifices that you have to make.
Exactly.
And it all falls into that category.
Yep. But I was saying, kids nowadays don't really want it.
No.
Well,
they look at Fortnite and they say, okay, when I'm playing this game, I am like.
But they'll invest $50 in Fortnite.
Well, more than that, probably.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Is like.
Drake, how much money have you spent on Fortnite? Oh, sure. Sure. Dylan's
you just
staying,
lied on air.
Dylan's staying with me right now, and I go downstairs in his room. He's just playing Fortnite with Drake all the time.
See, I that's just one of those things, dude. Like, I've never played it. I never can, because I feel like I have an addictive personality, and that might be one of the things that I'm like, wow, let's go.
I never played it.
I can't.
The only time I've ever seen it was that one night when you guys were playing.
Yeah, I've watched guys play it.
Yeah, my wife played one night with Drake.
Really?
Yeah.
I've watched guys play it.
Yeah.
Don't let DJ fool you. You played Call of Duty with me once.
I did play
Call of Duty. I think is like a different element, though, right? Yeah. Like I play Call of Duty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like especially in spring training too. Like when you're like, oh, we're done at noon, first 2 weeks. Like, what am I gonna do all day?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go train. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So I guess you gotta have your outlet.
That's a rabbit hole right there.
What did we just go? How did we start talking about? Oh, kids.
Yep.
2018.
Yep.
Yeah. iPhones.
Yep.
Connectivity to the world.
Yep. It's so easy. It is so easy to find information.
You could go on Google and type out baseball workout for pitcher, and like somehow, some way, you're going to get a program.
Yeah, and it probably will help you because kids, all you have to do as a 18, 17-year-old is look at a weight and let your testosterone take over.
Yeah,
literally. You know what I mean?
But that's serious. Like, I mean, but how much danger is that? Like doing things the wrong way.
Like you saw this morning, a kid walked in with a sling. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Right. Got hurt at school weightlifting. Right. Overcomplicating exercises.
Right.
Trying
stick to the basics.
Trying to teach kids to do max power cleans on something they've never done before.
Oh, dude, I have like parents reaching out to me on Instagram, like, hey, my kid's 12. What exercises should he be doing? Like, go outside,
do push-ups,
run around, do a simple like squat to the ground, and then a push-up.
If you can't squat or do a push-up, you don't deserve to
But
throw a
like,
baseball.
why overcomplicate it at that age, right? Like,
yeah, you don't.
Even up till I never lifted a weight until I turned pro.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I didn't need to.
Yeah.
Because I was a basketball player, I was doing baseball, like I was always outside, I was getting in trouble, I was talking, just whatever.
Yep.
And it was like that was like that's just beneficial.
Yep.
Just be a kid.
Yep.
Have fun, doing what you do.
Exactly.
That's another like huge topic is like fall in love with the process of all that.
Kids don't do that. I mean, I'm speaking broad here.
Right.
Kids don't do that
because there are
anymore.
kids that do.
We have kids that's like, holy cow, like when I was in high school, there's no way I'm doing what you're doing. You're obsessive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Waking up at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, dude, seeing your guys come here before their school starts, that's amazing.
Wednesday we had how many guys do we have?
Oh,
Wednesday?
gosh, that was a zoo.
20?
Yeah.
30 guys on Wednesday?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's cool. Like, I'd say all this bad stuff about these kids.
I know.
But
Yeah. I feel I get into that predicament too, like where I'm constantly just harping on guys, and it's like there's kids out there, like, don't get me wrong.
And they're amazing. And that's what builds our culture, right?
Yeah.
And we have kids, those kids stay, and the other kids, they leave. They sign up for a month, leave, badmouth us, saying, oh, that, it didn't work for me.
Yeah, I didn't
blah,
have
blah,
fun because he put walking
we
lunches
demand
in
a lot.
my program.
Yeah, exactly. We demand a lot.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I tell a parent when they sign their kid up. You know, we demand a lot.
Don't sugarcoat it.
This isn't not for everybody.
Yeah.
If you plan on quitting in season, don't sign up now.
Right.
I don't want your money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Being consistent is the number one thing. That's the best advice for anybody. You know, kids looking up.
Being great is being consistently good.
Absolutely.
I heard that quote like when I was like, I don't know, 18.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, dude, that makes sense. Because we're all after that being great. We're all after greatness.
Yep.
And we try to do things like on a Tuesday that's going to make us great that day, but then on Wednesday we're like, gosh, can't do anything. Then we're not even good that day.
Yep.
But it's like showing up every day, like doing those little things that you can do that particular day, just being consistent within that.
Yep.
Don't overcomplicate it.
Nope.
Tanner's doing a one shoulder squat thing in his diaper with a visor on. What is that, Tanner? We're sitting here saying don't overcomplicate training, and then we look at this.
This is not a product of what we endorse here.
Yeah, guys, disregard this whole podcast because we lied.
You don't want to get that?
We lied to you guys. Complicate as much as you can. So back to the pod. We're pretty much done. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe Top Gun. Maybe Top Gun or the original Batman. Yeah, Batman's.
What's the original?
The very 1989.
Val Kilmer?
Val Kilmer.
No.
Christian Bale.
No.
Wait, you're talking about the one with
The first one ever produced.
dude, there was one in like 1950 something.
No, like the movie.
Yes, there was a
Was there?
1950s
Oh.
movie.
Like one when I was a kid. Like
You're talking about the dude from
the Joker.
Beetlejuice.
yes,
He was the Batman.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the Batman was, but that was a really good one. Probably Top Gun. Maybe Bull Durham.
Bull Durham's got to be up there.
Yeah, hands down.
Gosh.
I don't want to give
it
a baseball movie, but all the baseball
have to.
movies, Major League, Sandlot,
sports movies.
all of them.
Yeah. I'm a big Marvel guy, so.
Yeah, my sister's
Avengers.
boyfriend is too.
Tell him I said hi.
I will.
Is he going to listen to the show?
Probably not.
We'll have to market it a little bit better then.
Big dude, Went to Comic-Con with him. Oh. I didn't go. I just went to San Diego and hung out.
Yeah, you didn't go to Comic-Con?
No,
I could see you dressing up.
My sister and him did. He's huge into like the Avengers and all of them.
You have like the Captain America Infinity War look right now going on. The
Thanks,
beard,
man.
the hair.
Appreciate it.
No doubt. When do I get a sweatshirt?
These are pro guys sweatshirts from last off season.
Oh.
So maybe this off season you get one.
Maybe, if I'm lucky.
If you're lucky.
I'm really hungry. Where should I go to eat today?
Mod Market.
I went to Mod Pizza the other night.
I saw that.
I didn't like it.
Go to Whole Foods.
Whole Foods Pizza?
No, Whole Foods just to eat.
Well, my cheat day is tomorrow, dude, so what should I do?
Seasons 52. I'm taking my coaches there tonight for Christmas party.
Seasons 52?
Yep.
What is it?
It's just a restaurant by the mall.
Oh, no, I want cheat meal, dude, like steak and shake. Come on. Waffle House, come on.
Waffle House.
All right. Yeah, DJ, that's part 2. That was a good episode, man. Shout for the people who are listening. Where can they find you on the internet?
We have a Instagram and Twitter at pushperformco.
Push Performance CO.
Push Perform.
Push Perform
CO.
Yeah, you threw everyone for a loop there.
DJ_Edwards9 on both Twitter and Instagram.
What are you more active on?
Neither right now. Both. Equally both.
I'll link all that into the show notes. I will link all the podcasts that you've done into the show notes. Any other articles or anything you want to send my way?
Okay.
If there's any links.
Yeah, definitely look at Zach's new book.
I got the book down. I'll link that in the show notes.
He's awesome.
This has been fun, dude.
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
You popped the cherry on the new little digital recorder thing there.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Hopefully people like our...
I'm curious as to how this will come out. Because
it's going to come out really good if people are patient.
There's people talking.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that'll come out.
Yeah.
Now I have the view of you and then Gus doing Rose shirtless in the background.
You're lucky.
Can I get any better?
No, definitely not.
All right, DJ. Thanks for your time, dude.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, that's another episode of The Robby Rowe Show. Do me a favor, if you liked the episode, or even if you didn't like it, go ahead and leave me a review on whatever platform you're listening to. Not only does it help me out with popularity on my show, but it also helps me out as a host of this podcast. Sometimes I don't know if I'm getting better or if I'm getting worse, and I need y'all's opinion. So go ahead and leave a review and let me know what you thought. So again, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, Robby rolling, The Robby Rowe Show. Your boy's out. Later.